Welcome back to the Source Garage. Sam here again, and today we're going to be going over the Big Red Sponge and Optimum No Rinse and seeing if it's as great as everyone claims. So what we're going to be doing is looking at how well can I use Optimum No Rinse with the Big Red Sponge for a rinseless wash and see if all of the dirt will actually come off of the sponge after dunking it in the bucket and rinsing it around on this Detail Guards dirt lock I have in here. So after the last experiments I did with all the other sponges, I got some comments and feedback from places I posted asking, well, you've done a lot of these other wash mitts with the pressure washer. What about the most famous, I guess, the O&R and Big Red Sponge? And most commonly, I don't actually see that done with the pressure washer. I see the one bucket method. Even on the videos from Optimum and I think in conjunction with the rag company, they're using just a bucket, dunking it in, swirling it around and then pulling it out and going right back to washing and kind of claim, hey, look at how much dirt fell off of it. Well, I want to go a little bit deeper and see if there's actually any contaminants left on here at all that you would then be taking and reapplying to your paint. Because I really don't like the videos where people are taking products that just kind of at face value and just showing like what you think is supposed to be happening, especially when we're talking about something that's on such a microscopic or small level. They like dunk it in, oh look, rub it on the panel, it's still shiny and clean, it didn't scratch anything. Well, no one's going to see anything, especially not even in person. You're not zooming in on the paint, you're not taking a detailed look at your wash media, you're not doing anything beyond just face value. And everything we're doing here, when you talk about a product like this that's being sold as really encapsulating the dirt and preventing it from doing any more damage, all this is happening at such a small level. I really don't like videos that people just show something at such a face value. So I have no opinion on this one way or the other. Like, I'm really hoping it's going to do great, or I think it's a garbage product. I'm completely unbiased. I'm all about the science here and seeing what actually happens. So what we're going to do is I'm going to mix up a bucket here of O&R. I'm going to use my truck, which hasn't been washed in a while. I'm going to take this, just dunk it in here, squeeze it out just a little bit. I'm going to follow the procedure I've seen as recommended as best I can. Take it, wipe down a whole panel with just one side of the rag here, or the sponge here, dunk it back in, scrub it around on the grit guard, and then take it out and see if the dirt's still on here. So I'm going to do that, take it back down to the microscope and look on here and see if we can find the dirt. Because the claim, right, is that this does such a great job of releasing all the dirt in combination with this Big Red Sponge especially, that we really shouldn't be finding any more dirt on here if it's as amazing as claimed. So first thing we're going to do is take this down, look at it on the microscope, see the structure of it. It should be completely clean. I have taken this out of the packaging and soaked it overnight. So it's softened up. I've let it soak for 2 nights actually in the bucket. It's just been dried out for a couple hours now. I pulled it out earlier. So we're going to go back and try and use it again. So I've tried to follow everything by the book as much as possible, and we're going to see how it actually works. So first to the microscope. So here we have the Big Red Sponge zoomed in on the microscope. You can see everything's completely clean here. I've moved the microscope all over it and make sure I can't find any contaminants. I haven't used this yet, and the only thing I am able to notice that may be a bit different or interesting to me is how I'm on the same magnification as I was the last experiment, and we looked at the yellow sponge, and the I would call it like the hexagonal or kind of structure of the sponge seems to be a bit smaller here. So maybe a tighter build. So we'll have to see how that plays out, if that does any change to anything. So I'm going to take the sponge, wipe it on the truck, rinse it off in the O&R, and then bring it back down, and let's look at it again. All right, so I've got my bucket of O&R mixed up here, got the Big Red Sponge. I'm just going to wipe down basically this whole side of the truck here with just one side of the sponge, and then take that and then rinse it off in the grit guard here and see what happens. So I want to make sure it's still dripping. It's got enough solution in here still. I'm really just using very, very light pressure, not trying to scrub into the paint anything. This is probably more than you should be doing and on a dirtier surface than you should be. So, you can see how black and dirty that is on here. So now I'm going to scrub it off in the bucket. Just grinding it against the grit guard here, the details guard dirt lock. And as you can see, that is pretty clean. So now I'm going to take it inside and look at it under the microscope and see if we can find any dirt. So here we are looking at the big red sponge under the microscope after it has been wiped down the truck and dunked in the bucket and rinsed off. Just wanted to point out the first thing that I found here, this little yellow spot, some kind of organic debris, I'm guessing, grass or leaf of some type. It does actually claim on the bottle that you may have to do some kind of excess washing or rinsing to get organic stuff out. It's not going to release as easily as the harder debris will, but stuff like this is typically going to be softer and much less likely to scratch the paint. So I'll see what else I can find. All right, so I did find my first, I guess, hard piece of debris here. I apologize for the shakiness of the camera. I've had to move it around. I'm holding it by hand right now as I've been trying to search for stuff. So this is the first thing I found. It looks like some kind of maybe mud or rock. It looks kind of large. I may be able to pull it out by hand, but I'm going to see if I can. But this is just the first thing I found so far. I'm going to keep looking. So I decided to turn the camera back on for this because I'm basically going to try and perform surgery here on a sponge and see if I can pull this particle out. I've got some tweezers and a very fine needle here. I'm not sure how this is going to work, but I figured I'd record the attempt anyway. It may be interesting just to see. Not sure what I'm doing here exactly. Trying to find some way to grab it. Come on. Oh, it's right there. Oh. It's right there on the surface. Come on. It looks like, I think it's mud. You can see it's kind of smushed down there. I think it's mud. And I got it. Let me see if I can change the magnification here. So there, now you can see it. So yeah, it's some kind of mud that got caught in there as I ripped out a little bit of the sponge, unfortunately. But now you guys can see. So I keep looking, see what else I can find. All right, I've been looking for probably 15 minutes now, and I'm just gonna jump around here to show you guys what I'm looking at. So I'm just moving the camera by hand. This thing is very, very clean. Aside from that one particle I found, I honestly haven't been able to find anything even remotely that same size again. I tried to go in a grid pattern too across all the different cut sections and be as thorough as possible. I found a couple of these like little leaf, so you can see that yellow thing in the top right there. I'm again organic stuff that's getting trapped in here, but not super worried. That's not going to be very hard, likely to scratch the paint. And even the one black particle we found was more mud-like than a rock. So I'm just randomly jumping around here. I am just not seeing anything. And it was dirty too. There was a lot of black on it. that I probably washed something I shouldn't have. It was dirtier than it should be. I didn't even pre-treat it or soak it in some way. I am I am impressed. I did not expect this to do such an excellent job. So yeah, I like you're seeing how long I'm going here, just moving around, and there's nothing. That's crazy. I am astonished. All right, well, back to the garage for some conclusions. All right, so wrapping up here. Wow, I am really impressed. There was almost nothing left in here after washing it out. Just the one little speck of mud I found and some of the organic matter that I wouldn't really be concerned about. Whereas in the previous test, we were finding lots of little black specks, dots of other stuff in there. I literally found one thing in the whole sponge that was black at least. So I'm amazed that this big red sponge combined with Optimum No Rinse, not even using a pressure washer to blow everything out really intensely, just dunking it in a bucket and scrubbing it around for 10 seconds or so, almost completely clean this. So that's absolutely amazing. This has got to be the best rinseless wash tool and media possible that at least that I've seen right now. This gives me some ideas for some more tests using other rinseless washes. Like in the last video I used McKee's. I may get my hand on a bunch of those and try them out with different sponges, different maybe microfibers, other mitts, and see if it really is the tool or the media that's making all the difference here. Or maybe it really does take a mix of these two to do as good of a job as it did. But just an idea for something to do in the future. But this together, absolute winner for doing a rinseless wash. Just a phenomenal job. So that's it for the rinseless wash test with the Big Red Sponge and Optimum No Rinse. Quick update on the tire stand. So I've been getting a lot of emails, people asking about when am I coming out with the new version of the wheel stand. I'm hoping this week I will have a video with the final product and be able to list them for sale very, very soon. I've gone through so many updates and changes and trying to source material to try and keep the cost as low as I can because I'm upgrading to stainless components, stainless fasteners with casters. It's all aluminum. It's going to be powder coated. It's got more adjustability. It's got a brake on it. So it's just so much better than I ever thought it could be. And I really hope to be able to share it this week and put them up for sale because I thank you to all the people who've been emailing me. I'm sorry, I'm trying to do this as fast as I can, but I have to make sure everything's perfect and I can commit to selling the product that's final that I want to at the price that makes sense for everybody. So stay tuned for that. Give me any comments, suggestions, feedback you have on this. Keep subscribing for more video content. I promise I'll be coming out with more stuff. I'm sorry it took so long. I'm way behind. I've been spending all my time on the new tire stand version right now. So once that's done, I want to get back to doing way more tests, doing hour-long videos on some other things. So hopefully that's coming soon. Thanks for watching.